All right, let's get real for a second. Not too long ago, we all thought we had AI figured out, right? We were using it for, the simple stuff, getting a quick summary of a reading assignment like 15 minutes before class started, or maybe drafting that discussion post we forgot about. We called them study hacks. We thought we were being so clever, working smarter, not harder. Turns out we were totally missing the point. See, that whole era of shortcuts, of treating this unbelievably powerful technology like some kind of party trick, that wasn't the future. As this slide says, that was just the toy phase. And I'm telling you, that phase is officially over. The entire game has changed. AI isn't just another app on your phone anymore. It's become the invisible, pulsing infrastructure of, well, everything. The economy, our jobs, and yeah, absolutely the modern classroom. You know all those old debates about whether we should ban it? They sound pretty ridiculous now, don't they? The technology is here and it is woven into the fabric of our world. So the real question for you right now isn't about whether AI is good or bad. That ship has sailed. The question is, where are you going to stand? Because a massive divide is opening up right under our feet, and the choice you make today is going to define your future long before you ever walk across that graduation stage. And look, the biggest danger here isn't some sci-fi movie plot with killer robots. No, the real threat is way more subtle, and it's happening as we speak. We're calling it the Atrophy Trap. I want you to think of your brand like a muscle. Seriously. When you just ask AI to write your essay for you, you're not just cheating on an assignment, you're cheating your own brain. That struggle, staring at a blank page and figuring out how to build an argument from scratch, that's the workout. That's how those cognitive muscles get stronger. If you outsource the struggle, those muscles just weaken, they atrophy. And this right here, it just lays out the two paths so perfectly. You've got the outsourcer on one side. They use AI to do the thinking for them. Sure, they might graduate with a nice GPA, but there's nothing behind it, no real skills. They are literally training to be replaced by the very software they used to cheat. But then you have the orchestrator. They use AI as a tool to learn faster, to go deeper. They're not asking for the answer. They're directing the AI to help them master the concept. So let's be crystal clear about this. Your immediate competition isn't some future robot. It's the student sitting right there in your class, the one who's already using AI to learn a new coding language this weekend, or to build a killer business plan by Tuesday, all while you're still just highlighting a textbook by hand. That is the real threat. So how do you become an orchestrator? How do you sidestep that atrophy trap? Well, it's not magic. It comes down to a clear blueprint, and it's built on 3 pillars you absolutely have to master. Let's kick things off with pillar 1. The very first thing you need to do is completely change how you talk to AI. Stop treating it like a glorified Google search. You have to master what this slide calls advanced prompt architecture. Now, that sounds complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. It means you're not just asking a basic question, you're building a whole world for the AI. You give it a role to play, a context to work in, and a very specific goal. This is what turns it from a dumb tool into your own elite personal tutor. I mean, just look at this example. This is incredible. This person isn't asking for a summary of mitosis. They're directing the AI to become a specific persona, an elite tutor that's going to challenge them, force them to explain things in their own words, and pinpoint the exact gaps in their knowledge. This is how you use AI to build your brain, not just bypass it. All right, let's move on to pillar 2. Okay, this next pillar builds on that whole idea of personalized learning. Let's face it, the world doesn't need people who just know one thing anymore. It needs creative problem solvers. In the past, it was really hard for, say, a history major to learn some coding. There was just too much friction. But AI completely demolishes that friction. It becomes your personal sandbox, letting you mix and match disciplines and fill in the gaps in your own skill set. So what does this actually look like? Well, if you're a history major, you can use AI to help you build an interactive digital map, and guess what? You'll learn some basic code along the way. Business major, you can have an AI act as a ruthless negotiator to practice for the real thing. Your value is no longer just what's in your major. It's about your ability to connect the dots between different fields. And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, pillar 3. And this brings us to the third, and honestly, maybe the most important pillar of all, the human premium. Think about it. As AI starts churning out an endless flood of content that's polished but kind of average, the value of just good enough is going to plummet. Your real, lasting advantage is going to come from the skills that are uniquely, powerfully human. AI can generate 1,000 ideas, sure, but it can't feel which one will resonate with people. It can't decide which problems are actually worth solving in the first place. That takes judgment. It takes taste. It takes empathy. Your real edge in this new world lies in critical thinking, communication, leadership, all the things AI simply cannot replicate. Okay, this all sounds great in theory, I get it. But how do you actually start? Where do you begin? Right here. We've got a concrete 30-day action plan to take you from being a passive user to a full-on orchestrator. So let's break it down real quick. Week 1 is your audit. Just be a detective. Watch how you work. What tasks are slow, repetitive, or just suck the life out of you? Boom. Those are your first targets for AI. In week 2, you flip the switch from passive to active. Pick your hardest subject and use that Socratic method we talked about. Make the AI debate you, challenge you, and show you where you're weak. Week 3 is all about connection. Dump all your notes from different classes into one place and use AI to be your research assistant, finding all these wild, surprising links you never would have seen. And finally, week 4 is for building. Stop just writing essays. Create something real, a simple app, a data project, a business pitch. Because in the real world, what you can do speaks so much louder than a grade on a paper. And so, here we are, right back where we started. It all comes down to a choice, and there really is no middle ground anymore. The time for just casually using AI to get by is over. The divide is here, between the people who let AI do their thinking for them and those who use it to think better, faster, and deeper than ever before. The crazy thing is, knowledge isn't the barrier anymore. These tools are available to everyone. The only thing left that truly matters is your ambition. Everything you could possibly need to learn and grow at a speed that was unimaginable just a few years ago is literally at your fingertips. So the only real question left to ask yourself is this: what are you going to learn today?